good afternoon. I hope you're well. Welcome to the video. Slightly different intro for this video, as you might imagine. Today is losing track of days. Today is the Saturday, the 28th of March, and we, as everyone would know, we are in the midst of a pandemic, and in the UK here we're a week or two into a lockdown. So very strange times, and I hope everyone is keeping safe and keeping indoors, and fingers crossed we will be soon back on the bank and having those lines nice and tight. So again, I hope you are all well and keeping safe. I did manage to have a few sessions, get a few sessions in before the lockdown, and this particular video was from a couple of 3 weeks ago. Session on the boat after Pike, Zander and Perch, and that was yeah, really good trip. I've also had a session on the River Aln, just outside Henley in Arden, which is a very small river, almost a stream really, and that was sort of a mini species sort of session. Nothing big, but nonetheless enjoyable. I also had the last day of the season on the River Team, which was I had some success there after Barble, which was great. Particularly, January and February was pretty much sort of flooded out really, so it was great to get back on the River Team before of course the season ended, and of course before we're in the situation we are in now. So of course Boris, rightly so, has sort of put a stop to us fishing, which is completely understandable. So stay at home, stay safe, enjoy this video and the few more to follow, and as I say, no doubt we'll be back on the bank soon enough, and take care, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers. Hi, good afternoon. I hope you're well. Welcome to the video. For this session, I am back on the boat on the Warwickshire Avon, and it's quite a nice day for it. We're coming up to the close season on the rivers, so I've had a couple of days off from work, and I'm going to try and squeeze in a few sessions on the rivers before they close, as I say, for the close season. I'm hoping to perhaps go down onto the River Team in the next few days. Again, dependent on the river levels. You can see perhaps that the levels are up on the Avon, probably a couple of feet, so the water's a little bit muggy. But fingers crossed we'll be good for a few fish today. The weather in February was horrific, some of the worst on record, and the rivers have been pretty much out of action really. The flooding has been some of the worst flooding that we've had in the UK for 20 plus years, and yeah, it's been pretty grim, and I haven't really been out too much fishing, not as much as I would have liked anyway. So this session, as I say, back on the boat, I'll be targeting perch, zander, pike, anything that comes along really. The weather is a little bit mixed, as you can probably see. Bit of sun, bit overcast at times, and a few showers at the moment, but I think it's supposed to brighten up later. So I was down on the boat a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately I didn't get much footage, and what I did get wasn't too great, so but I had a really good session. I managed the trio, or the treble as some people call it, and that's a perch, zander and pike, all three on the same trip. So I had a lovely perch, £2 7 ounce, which I was really pleased with, and then I had a pike about £10. The perch was on float fished worm, and the pike was on a small float fished live bait, and then I topped it off at the end of the session with a lovely £9 Zander, and that was on float ledgered dead roach. So yeah, really pleased with that session. As I say, unfortunately the footage wasn't up to par, but what I will do is after this intro I'll put up a little bit of footage and a few photos just to show you those nice fish, as I say, caught in that last session, which I think was 2 weekends ago, I think. So anyway, the tactics and plan for today is I've put some ground bait out. I'll go through the bait shortly. I've put some ground bait out just to attract some smaller fish and hopefully some perch. And what I'm going to do is have a little walk around with the lure rod and try a few little spots in the marina before I then come back to the boat and settle in. And what I'll probably do is hopefully get a few live baits out and some dead baits as well. So as I say, that's the plan for the session. So I'm going to go and have a little walk around with the lure rod before I come back to the boat. Before I do, I'll just run you through the bait that I've got today. So for the pike, I've just got a couple of packets of coarse fish, some roach there, and some little skimmers, and that's from Loose Baits. And then for generally just attracting the smaller fish into the swim, but also to try and I'm going to have a go for some perch later on. I've got some worms, some white maggots, and I've made a nice ground bait mix with the Sonia Baits worm fish meal ground bait, and as you can see there, that's quite a nice mix. And I've just got some chopped up worm and some maggots in there as well. So yeah, that's the plan for the session. As I say, I've got some bait out already, some ground bait, just to hopefully get some fish moving around. I'm going to go and grab the lure rod and have a little go. So I will catch up with you shortly. Okay, no joy on the lure fishing. Just come back to the boat, got set up, a couple of pike baits out, and just caught a little perch on maggot. Oh, hooks come out. So yeah, float fished, come on then, float fish maggot. First perch of the day. Nice little one. Lovely fish. Let's pop it back. Brilliant. So yeah, as I say, I didn't have any joy on the spinning rod. I tried a few different spots in the marina, but no success unfortunately. So back at the boat, I've got a float fished roach dead bait on the left hand rod, and then on the right hand rod I've got a float ledgered lamprey. The river unfortunately is rising, but yeah, I've had a few fish on the float. So obviously putting that ground bait out and letting it rest has worked. So I've had a small roach and that perch just then. So there's obviously a few small fish about, which is good. There's another one. So yeah, this is just on float maggot at the moment. It's a little perch. I'll probably switch over to little perch there. I'll probably switch over to worm a little bit later, perhaps when the sun comes down a little bit, see if there's any bigger ones around. But for now it's just good to be out and catching a few fish. Take on the live bait and we're in, and it's right on the inside. Come on, come out, yes. What we got? Oh, a little pike. So that's on a little bleak live bait. Looks like she's done already. Whoa, yes. Oh, you are joking. That's annoying. Okay, I've got to take on the lamprey. And we're in. What is this doing? I just recast that to the far side, and it's probably been there about 10 minutes or so, that's all. Oh, it's stuck in a bit of... Oh, it's stuck in something. Alright, the fish is stuck. Oh, there you go, it's free. Whoa, what on earth are you doing? Right, let's try and get this one in. Oh, it's a Zander. It's a lovely, lovely Zander. Come on, come on. Oh, what are you doing, Dan? There you go. Oh, God. Brilliant. So that was float fish lamprey. Nice Zander. Let's take a look at it. Right, let's give it a quick weigh. That's 7.5. So it's probably about 5.5 when you take the net off. So I'm just going to give it a little rest in the water and then get a photo. Okay, there we go. Lovely Zander, probably about 5.5 pounds. I can see that all right. But yeah, lovely fish taken on lamprey. Makes up for that lost pike earlier. But yeah, great fish. Let's get it back. Right then, let's get this fish back. Lovely Zander. Had a good rest in the net. Look at that, beauty. Beautiful fish. Right, let's let it go. Yes, kicking well. Great stuff. Okay, I'll just run you through the tackle and setup I've got on the float ledger, which is the setup I've just had that Zander on. So I'll do that just before recasting. So I've got a fixed ball reel with 15-pound line. I've then got a short 9-foot rod, which works really well on the boat, and that's 2 3/4 test curve rod. And then that comes all the way down to, at the moment I've got a piece of lamprey, and that's a wire trace with 2 size 8 barbless trebles, and as I say, wire trace. And this is a float ledger setup. So I've got the float there, which goes up to a bead and a stop knot, and then that comes then down to a small ledger weight, which is I think about 1 ounce. And then I've got a bead to protect the swivel, and then a stick clip, just to make it nice and easy to change up the hook links. So yeah, that's the setup that I've just used. So yeah, really pleased with that Zander. The weather is making things a bit tough today. Wind's got up to about 20 mile an hour now, which you might be able to hear it a little bit. But yeah, really pleased with that fish, and certainly makes up for losing that small pike earlier. So I'm going to have a recast and see if we can't get another one. Okay, so I'm just float fishing worm, and I just gave it a little twitch, and something's grabbed it, and I don't think it's a perch. I think it might be a little pike. Oh, trying to get it under the boat. What is it? It's not a tench, is it? I've just switched over to... It is a tench. Brilliant. I haven't had a tench from here for ages. So I just switched over to worm to try and catch a perch. I had a bit of fun on the maggot. Oh, that's a lovely tench. Had a bit of fun on the maggot and caught a few small fish. And then, as I say, this is on a size 14 hook with a worm, and that's a lovely tench. That's got to be £3–4. Come on, stay on, stay on. There we go, come on. So much for the perch fishing. The wind is absolutely howling. 20-mile-an-hour winds now. And I was just starting to get a little bit fed up, if I'm honest. Yeah, I was just starting to get a little bit fed up with the weather. And here we go, look at that. That's a lovely tench for the river. Oh, look at that. Lovely bend in the rod. Come on now. Yeah, no. No, missed it. Come on now. In you go. Yes, brilliant. That's a lovely tench. Right, let's take a look at it and get it weighed. Okay, let's take a closer look at it. It's quite a recognisable fish actually. It's got a sort of bit of a stumpy head, and it's actually got a black spot just there, black marking. But that is a lovely tench for oh, look at that wind. That's a lovely tench for the start of March. Let's get a quick photo. Okay, there we go. Hopefully you can see that all right. So that's a lovely lovely tench. Don't catch too many from the Avon, so that's a lovely fish for this time of year. Not quite the perch I was after, but very welcome. But yeah, great fish. Let's get it back. Okay, let's get this tench back. It's certainly a nice surprise fish on this cold day in March. It's had a little bit of a rest. Let's let it go. Brilliant. It's a bite on the worm. Yes. Oh, it's only a little one. What we got? Little perch. He's all right. Not quite the one I'm after. Not quite the perch I'm after, but that's a nice fish. Let's get it back. It's another fish on the worm. I don't think it's massive, but yeah, another perch. just coming up to the last hour of the day now, and perhaps the fish are just turning on a little bit. He fights in the net, not in the water. Come on now, calm down. There we go. Lovely little perch. Let's get it back. Ugh. I think they might be spawning soon. It's a little nibble. Oh, that's a better fish. Whoa. So I really hope this is a perch, because if it is, it's a decent one. Yes, it is. Oh, that's a beauty. That's a beauty. Come on. Excellent. That is lovely. That's got to be £2. Brilliant. Let's have a look at it. There we go. Lovely perch. Nice and fat. Let's give it a quick weigh, but it's close to £2, I would have thought. But yeah, things are picking up. Right then, let's see what she goes. And that is £2.16. Brilliant. £2.16, that's lovely. I'll give her a little rest in the net and we'll get a quick photo. Okay, there we go. Lovely perch. That's what I was really hoping for, really. A nice nice perch, couple of pounds, and yeah, lovely fish. Shame we didn't get the pike earlier to make it the treble, but yeah, really pleased with that. Lovely Zander earlier on. Nice surprise tench, and now a nice perch that's quite fat and no doubt going to spawn in a few weeks. But yeah, lovely. Let's get it back and see what we can do. Okay, let's get her back. She's had a good rest. She's lively enough. Lift up the net under her. There she goes. Go on. Brilliant. Great stuff. There's a take on the roach. What we got here? That hadn't been out too long. This was on there. Goes right into the boat. Oh, it's another lovely Zander. Brilliant. angry. I was only just hooked, it might come off, but we'll see. Here we go, come on. Beauty. God, he's fighting. Excellent, look at that. Brilliant. Second Zander of the trip. Well, let's take a look at it. Okay, there we go, second Zander of the trip. Really pleased with that one. Really good condition. I haven't weighed it, it's probably 4 or 5 pounds, something like that. But yeah, I'm not sure how well you can see that, but absolute beauty. Let's get it back. Okay, let's get her back. She's fighting fit. Oh yes, shot off. Brilliant. Hi, good evening, I hope you're well. Back at the car now, end of the session, just about to head home. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I showed a little bit of footage and some photos of the session a few weeks ago, which I was really pleased with. Obviously really good to get the treble with the nice perch over £2, the £10 pike, and obviously the £9 Zander, which is to be fair the biggest Zander I've had for a while. So yeah, I was really pleased with that. But then today was a bit of a surprise. I got battered, to be honest, by the wind. It was a bit of a tough day. So yeah, I feel a little bit sort of battered and bruised. But yeah, it was a really good trip. Ended up with obviously the two Zander and the perch, just over £2 as well, which was in really good condition. And obviously that surprise tench, which went £3 13 ounces by my calculator. So yeah, lovely tench for the Warwickshire Avon. I don't catch too many of them, so that was a bit of a surprise. To be honest, I thought it was a pike because I just sort of twitched the worm and thought maybe a pike had just sort of snatched at it. But yeah, lovely to catch a tench from the marina. As I say, I haven't caught too many of them. So I've got a couple of days now before the close season kicks in. I'm going to keep an eye on the river levels and the weather, and hopefully I'll get out in the next few days, and hopefully I'll see you there. So again, hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, click like and share and all that sort of good stuff, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.